Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge, welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you, Senator.
I'm not going to ask you about any Supreme Court, ask you to comment on any Supreme Court cases, and I'm certainly not going to ask you about a case in front of you or how you would rule. I just want to try to understand how you think, if that's okay. Do you think America is mostly good or mostly bad?
Senator, I took my boys for a walk yesterday around this neighborhood, and we stopped outside the Supreme Court, and one of them pointed out to me that the pillars in front of the Supreme Court are Corinthian, and we looked at the pediment above it, and it said equal justice under the law. I remember the first time I saw that building when I walked inside to interview for a clerkship with Justice Stevens. I carry that feeling of reverence for the rule of law with me in the responsibility that I have as a district court judge. I'm proud of my service on the court, and I'm proud to be a part of this American judicial system.
Yes, ma'am. But do you think America is mostly good or mostly bad?
America is mostly good, Senator.
Thank you. Do you think freedom and democracy are synonymous? Can you think of circumstances when they're not?
They're not synonymous, but I do think freedom requires democracy and democracy requires freedom.
Yeah. But a majority in a democracy could vote to put somebody out of business just because they don't like them. Majority rules. But that wouldn't be right, would it? I mean, sometimes all of the fools are on the same side. You understand what I'm saying?
I think so.
I guess the point I'm trying to make, and we conflate the two all the time, is that we all believe in democracy, but inalienable rights vis-a-vis of the minority against the majority are important, are they not?
The rights enshrined in the Constitution are fundamentally and critically important.
Okay. Let me just shift gears here for a second. Do you think, I'm thinking in terms of newly created unenumerated rights in the U.S. Constitution. Do you think they should be voted on or created by our judiciary?
Senator, I do want to be cautious not to weigh into a political or policy question, but of course the Supreme Court in Washington v. Glucksberg laid out the test for the recognition, or at least the pronouncement by the Supreme Court, of unenumerated rights. Those are rights that are deeply rooted in our nation's histories and traditions and implicit in the concept of ordered liberty.
I'm just trying to understand your judicial philosophy, though. The right I'm talking about is unenumerated. If you read the Constitution, it wouldn't leap out at you. That's why we call it unenumerated, of course, a penumbra, if you will, which I'm still trying to figure out. Do you think that those kind of rights should be voted on by the people or created by a judge, all things being equal?
As a judge, I would have to consider the Supreme Court precedent with respect to the articulation of a right, enumerated or unenumerated, and apply that to a particular case that came before me.
Right. But which of the two is in your opinion, in a democracy where we have minority rights, is the better approach? To have a new right voted on by the people or the people's representatives, or created by a federal judge?
I suppose to the extent it's a constitutional right, it was voted by the people in the founding, so it's at some level a creature of democratic governance.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.